So one of the questions I get a lot is what kind of recording equipment should I buy, right? Or what do I use? Now, when it comes to recording equipment, I've gone through a lot of changes, as most of us have over the years, and of course with developments and new technology and all that business. But at this point in time, I'm using basically 2 channels. That's all I need. As a songwriter, I don't need more than that. I'm not recording bands. I'm not recording, multiple like drums or anything like that. So 2 channels is plenty. Even 1 channel you can get away with. But the reason I love 2 channels is because it gives you the flexibility to play and sing at the same time. So if you're one of those people, like a singer-songwriter type of deal, where or you're working out ideas and you just love strumming on the guitar and singing at the same time, it's good to have 2 channels. So you have one for the guitar, one for the microphone, or 2 microphones, or whatever combination, which is pretty cool. So, but basically that's what I do. I have 2 channels. Now, how good do they have to be? How much money should you spend on recording equipment? Well, that depends on what level of quality you want. But as a songwriter, if you're basically writing and recording just so you can get the idea across, so you can pitch it to publishers, producers, record companies, whatever, it does have to be a nice, clean recording. And the less noise, the better, the clearer and crisper the vocals and your instrument is, the better. If it's just a vocal guitar, then it better be good. If you're gonna pitch to these people, you want the best quality that you can afford. That's my opinion. A lot of people have different opinions on this. They say it doesn't matter as long as the song is great. Now, I agree that the song must be great. It doesn't matter how good your equipment is. If the song is weak, then it doesn't matter. Okay, you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars on equipment. It won't make a difference, right? But bad equipment can actually be detrimental to a great song. It can take away from a great song. If there's, excessive noise or artifacts in the recording, or even worse, a really bad performance, then, that can take away from a great song, especially a bad performance. So it is really important that you have at least decent equipment, but it's even more important that you have a great performance so that it doesn't take away from the song and it actually enhances it. Now, as far as equipment goes, I use a couple of channels and I'll show you what they are here. Okay, so here we have basically my 2 channels. Now, on the top here, we have the Chandler Germanium. It's an incredible preamp. It has the germanium technology in there with a feedback knob, and just basically the highlight of this preamp for me personally is just this bass. It's got a thick button that gives us the bottom frequency is just unbelievable, especially for bass. It's just something else. So there's the Chandler, and the other pre that I have is the LA610, which is it's a 2-part. It's one part is the preamp, the other one here is Compressor, which is based off of the LA2A. So it's like a channel strip. But these are the 2 pre's that I had until recently, until I got, and this is the Distressor compressor, which is an incredible compressor, very versatile, amazing compressor. But recently I picked up this here. So this is the Neve, not sure if you can see it there. It's the Neve 88M, which is, it's got 2 pre's, 2 Neve pre's, which are based out of the 88M console. Incredible preamps, but it's also a USB interface. So you get the best of both worlds. You get 2 pre's and you get a USB interface, which is really, really high quality conversion. So that's my setup. 2 pre's, 2 compressors. I have an extra pre, of course. Some people have a lot more than that, obviously, and I used to as well. But this is my setup now. 2 channels. That's all I need. Microphones, I've got a tube microphone there. That's the Bee's Knees Mahalia, which is basically a clone of the U67, the Newman U67, an amazing microphone. It's a tube mic, really, really nice. And then I got a couple of these AKG 414s. That's the XL2, I believe. I have an XLS as well. So you want to get good mics. Mics are really, really important, of course. That's the first part of your signal chain. So get really, really good mics. And then, of course, you want decent preamps. They don't have to be the best, but you know, these are the ones that I use. I've gone through a lot. And then, of course, the interface. I used to have the Babyface Pro, and that's an amazing USB interface as well. So I had the Babyface Pro, but then I upgraded it to this one. And then I have the patch bay here. You probably can't see it from that angle, but there's a patch bay over here, just so I could patch my couple of channels, and I have my options of which, you know, pre to use with which compressor. Then I have a fader port. That's basically a one fader controller. And it has, you know, the transport controls here, and of course a lot of other options. It's pretty cool. It's really, really nice, very handy, very compact. So that's pretty cool. Of course, my focals, these are the CMS 50s. So they're only 5-inch for this room. They're perfect. I don't need the incredible huge speakers. These are perfect for this room. And basically that's it. Of course, I have my guitars, and I've put up some soundproofing here. It hasn't been tuned, you know, the room hasn't really been tuned, but I put them up. It sounds good to me. There's no standing waves that I can hear. For my purposes, I'm not really going nuts here with mixing and, you know, mastering, right? I don't need that kind of a space, but I want a decently treated room as well. So I sort of make sure that it sounds pretty good. And then, of course, the computer. I've got a laptop. But it's a very powerful laptop. It's an i7, I think. I've got 32 gigs of RAM on it. It's a pretty good, very good PC. It's got an SSD drive, really fast, and it can handle a lot of tracks and a lot of plugins. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's what I do. That's what I use. That's the equipment that I have after, you know, many years of just sort of streamlining things. You know, there was a time when I had like a huge mixer and I had, you know, it's just like, it was overkill, but it was a lot of fun, okay? So these toys can be a lot of fun, you know? It's like, what do they say? They call it like the bottomless pit, right? Because we're constantly buying stuff, I've got guitars everywhere here. And it's just, I love it. And it can get to a point though that it becomes a distraction and it takes away from actually writing great songs and having the equipment and the technology to support and to communicate those great songs. And at the end of the day, that's the goal. That's got to be the goal with the equipment, because the equipment is there to serve a purpose. It's like a means to an end. It's not an end in itself, although sometimes it feels like, you know, it is an end in itself. You know, just equipment. You know, I went through that phase. So I'm pretty happy right now with the setup I have. But of course, it's always evolving, always changing. You know, tastes change over time. But that's okay. That's fine. But at the end of the day, it's all about the song. Everything here exists to communicate a message, to inspire people, to touch people. It's all about the music. So don't worry too much about all this stuff. Keep it clean, keep it neat, get the best equipment you can afford, but more importantly, write amazing music. All right? So keep writing. I'll see you next time.